Chapter 3. An unexpected encounter with a surprising stranger. Do not live as if you have a 10,000 year left. Your fate hangs over you while you are still living, while you are still exist on earth. Strive to become a genuinely great person. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman Emperor. Entrepreneur lied to the people she met at a seminar, telling them she was in a room to learn the spellbinder's fabulous formulas for exponentially productivity as well as to discover the neuroscience beneath the personal mastery that he had sharing with the leaders of industry. She mused that her expectation that the guru's methodology would give her an unmatchable edge over her firm's competition and allowing the business swiftly scale towards an indisputable dominance. You know the real reason she was there. She needed her hope restored and her life saved. The artist had come to event to understand how to fuel his creativity and multiply his capability so he could make an enduring mark on his field by paintings he generated. And a homeless man appeared to have sneaked into the conference hall while no one was watching. The entrepreneur and the artist had been seated together. This was the first time they had met. Do you think he's dead? She asked as the artist fidgeted with his dangling Bob Marley dreadlocks. The entrepreneur's face was angular and long. A wealth of wrinkles and wetty crevices ran along the forehead like ruts in a farmer's fresh field. Her brown hair was a medium in a length and styled in and I mean a business and dare not mess with me kind of a way. She was lean like a long distance runner with the thin arms and lithe legs that emerged from sensible blue designer skirt. Her eyes looked sad from the old hurts that had never been healed and from the current chaos that was infecting her beloved company. Not sure. He's old. He fell hard. God, that was wild. Never seen anything like it, the artist said anxiously as he tacked on the earring. I am new to his work. I am not into sort of thing, the entrepreneur explained. She stayed seated, her arms folded over the cream colored blouse with the colossal floppy bag bow tie perched fashionably at a neckline. But I liked a lot of his information on productivity in this era of devices destroying our focus, our ability to think deeply. His words made me realize I have to guard my cognitive assets in a far better way. She carried on the fairly formally, and she had no real interest in sharing what she was going through, and she obviously wanted to protect her facade of illustrious businesswoman ready to raise to the next level. Yeah, he's a deaf hip, say the artist looking nervous. He helped me so much. Can't believe what just went down. Surreal, right? He was a painter because he wanted to elevate his craft as improve his personal life. He followed the spellbinder's work and but for whatever reason the demons within him seemed to hold the power over the greater nature. So he had inevitably sabotaged his Herculean ambitions and wonderfully originated ideas. The artist was heavy, a goatee jutted out from under his chin. He wore a black t shirt, a long black shorts that fell below his knobby knees. The black boots with the rubber soles, the kind you may have seen the Austrians wear, completed a creative uniform. A fascinating cascade of tattoos rolled down both arms and across his left leg. One said the rich people are fakers. Another stole a line from Salvador Dali, and the famed Spanish artist. It simply read, I don't do drugs, I am drugs. Hi guys. The homeless man spoke inappropriately loudly from the few rows behind the entrepreneur and the artist. The auditorium was still empty. The audio-visual crew was noisy tearing down a staging. Even stops swept the floors. A nightmares on a wax song played soothingly in the background. The two new acquaintances turned around to see the tangled maze of a wild person hair, a face that looked like it hadn't been shaved in decades, and tattered arrangement of a terrificially stained clothing. Yes, asked the entrepreneur in a tone as cold as the ice cube in Arctic. Can I help you? Hey, brother, what's up? Offered, hey, brother, what's up? Offered the artist more compassionately. The homeless man got up, shuffled over, and sat next to the two. Do you think the guru's crocked? He asked as he picked at the scab on one of his wrists. Not sure, the artist replied as he twirled another dreadlock. Hope not. Did you guys like a seminar? You into what the old timers said? Continued a scruffy stranger. Daff, said artist. I love his work. I have a hard time living it all. But what he says is profound and powerful. I'm not sure, the entrepreneur said cynically. I like a lot of what I heard today, but I am still not convinced on some on other things. I will need some time to process it all. Well, I think he is a numero uno, stated the homeless man with the burp. I made my fortune thanks to the teachings of the spellbinder and have enjoyed a pretty world class life because of him. 2. Most people wish for a phenomenal things to happen to them. He taught me that exceptional performance make the phenomenal things happen to them. And the great thing is, he not only gave me a secret philosophy to get my big dreams done, but he taught me the technology, the tactics and tools to translate the information into results. His revolutionary insights on how to install a fiercely productive morning routine alone transformed the impact I had on my marketplace. A jagged scar ran along the homeless man's forehead just above his right eye. His threatening beard was grey, and around his neck he sported a beaded necklace like a one the Indian holy men wears at their temples. Through his hyperbole made him sound unstable, and his visage made it appear that he had lived on the streets for many years. His voice displayed an irregular sense of authority, and his eyes revealed the confidence of a lion. Total crackpot, the entrepreneur whispered to the artist. If he's got a fortune, then I am a Mother Teresa. Got you, he seems insane, right? The artist replied. But check out his humongous watch. Oh, okay. On the left wrist of a homeless man who seemed to be in his late 60s was one of those massive timepieces that pretty a red needle thin hour hand and sit and the sunset orange minute hand. This noteworthy badge of honor was united with the wide black rubber strap, landing a diver like feel to the word luxurious look. What part of a plain battle stock did you cats like the best? Said the vagabond asked, still scratching his wrist. Was it all the stuff about the psychology of a genius that he started out with? Or maybe those inglorious models he taught on the productivity hacks of a billionaires that he jammed on the middle? Maybe you were stoked by the new neurobiology that creates the top performance? Or did you vibe with his theory on perceived responsibility to reach the legendary while serving as an instrument for benefit of humanity that he walked us through before that dramatic finish? The homeless man then winked and glanced at his big watch. Hey dudes, this was been fun, but time is most of the precious commodities I have learned to bulletproof. Warren Buffett, the brilliant investor, said the rich invest in time, the poor invest in money, so I can't hang with you humans too long. Got a meeting with a jet and ran away. Know that I what I mean. He seems to be delusional, thought entrepreneur. Buffett also said, I buy expensive suits, they just look cheap on me. Maybe you will remember that quote too. And she continued, I really don't mean to be rude, but I am not sure how you got in there. I have no idea where you got that fat watch from and what jet you are talking about. And please stop speaking the way you do about what happened at the presentation. Nothing funny about it. Seriously, I am not sure. Gentleman still breathing. Deaf too, the artist agreed as he stroked his goatee. Goatee. Not cool. And why do you talk like a surfer? Hey, chill guys, the homeless man said. First, I am a surfer. I spent my teenage years on a board in Malibu. Used to ride near a point where the rad breaks are. Now I surf the smaller waves in Tamarian Bay, a spot you cats have probably never been to. Never heard of a place? You are fairly outrageous, the entrepreneur said forcefully. The homeless man was unstoppable. And second, I have been very successful in the business world. Have built a bunch of companies that are extremely profitable in the age of firms making billions in income, yet nothing on their bottom line. What a joke. The words going a little berserk. Too much greed, not enough good sense, and third, if I may, he added as his gravelly voice grew stronger, there is a plane waiting for me on a tarmac not far from here. So before I go, I will ask you again because I want to know what part of a Spellbinder's presentation did you two guys like best? Pretty much the whole thing, the artist answered. Loved it all. So much I recorded every word of the old legend said. That's illegal, cautioned the homeless man, crossing his arms firmly. You could get into the serious lawyer trouble for doing that. It is against the law, confirmed by the entrepreneur. Why would you do that? Because I wanted to do. Because just felt like it. I do what I want to do. Rules are made for distractions. The Picasso said, you learn the rules like a pro so you can break them as an artist. Need to be myself and not some sheep with the balls blindly following the flock down the path that leads to nowhere. Most people, especially the people with the cash and nothing but the bunch of frauds, declare the artist. It's like a spellbinders sometimes say, you can fit in or you can change the word. You don't get to do both. So I recorded the whole thing. Shoot me. And jail would be the interesting. I had probably met some cool persons there. Okay, the homeless man said. I don't like your decision, but I do love your passion. So go ahead. Bring it on. Play the parts of a seminar that turned you on. Okay. Everything I recorded will blow your mind. The artist raised his arm to reveal the detailed tattoo of a guitar virtuoso Jimi Hendrix. The phrase, when the power of a love overcomes the power of a love of a power, the world will know the peace, appeared over the dead superstar's face. You are about to hear something special, he added. Yes, yes, go ahead and play the parts you liked, encouraged the entrepreneur. She stood up and she wasn't quite sure why, but ever so slightly, something was beginning to shift deep within her core. Maybe life has been breaking me down, she thought, and so I can make some sort of breakthrough. Being at this event, meeting the artist, and hearing the spellbinder's words, even if she didn't agree with all he said, was giving her a feeling that what she was experiencing at her firm just might be some form of presentation demanded by her greatness. The entrepreneur was still skeptical, but she sensed there was some opening and possibly growing. So she promised herself she had keep following this process instead of retreating. Her former way of existing no longer served her. It was a time for the change. The entrepreneur thought about a quote she learned from Theodore Roosevelt. It's not the critics who count. It's not the critics who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doers of deeds could have done better, have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by the dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and who comes up with a shot again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end of a triumph of his high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know the victory nor defeat. She also recalled the phrase she had learned from the spellbinder's address, something like, the moment when you most feel like giving up is the instant when you must find it in you to press ahead. And so the businesswoman reached deep within herself and made a vow to continue her quest to find her answers and solve her problems and experience vastly better days. Her hope was gradually expanding and her worries were slowly shrinking, and the small and still voice of her final self was beginning to whisper that a very special adventure was about to begin. Thank you guys for listening to me, the third chapter of 5 a.m. Club. See you in the next video. Like, share, subscribe.